In the dimly lit village of St. Clair, nestled deep within the dense forests of medieval France, whispered tales of terror echoed through the cobblestone streets. The villagers, with fear etched into their weary faces, huddled around flickering fires, their eyes darting nervously at the shadows dancing in the night. For St. Clair harbored a sinister secret, a secret that lurked beneath the cloak of darkness, waiting to unleash its unholy wrath upon the unsuspecting. The legend spoke of a monstrous entity that prowled the moonlit woods, its blood-curdling howls sending shivers down the spines of even the bravest souls. Many so-called werewolves centuries ago were actually serial killers, and France had a fair share of them. In 1521, Frenchman Julien Latour and her Street Georges allegedly swore allegiance to the devil and claimed they had an ointment that turned them into wolves. Some whispered that the curse of lycanthropy had descended upon the land, while others believed it to be the work of malevolent sorcery. Among the villagers, a tale was told of a young maiden named Elise Dubois, whose disappearance on a moonlit night sent shockwaves of fear throughout the village. Elise was the daughter of the village blacksmith, a radiant beauty whose laughter once filled the air with joy. But now, her absence cast a pall of dread over the hearts of the villagers, for they knew all too well the fate that awaited those who vanished into the clutches of the night. Rumors swirled like mist through the forest, whispers of a fearsome beast with eyes as fiery as the depths of hell, stalking its prey with ravenous hunger. Some claimed to have caught glimpses of its shadowy form darting between the trees, while others spoke of grisly remains found strewn across the forest floor, picked clean by gnarled claws and razor-sharp teeth. Among those who dared to venture into the haunted woods was Jean-Luc Beaumont, a fearless hunter whose steely resolve matched the cold gleam of his sword. With each passing night, Jean-Luc patrolled the outskirts of the village, his senses honed to a razor's edge as he sought to uncover the truth behind the mysterious disappearances. But as the moon waxed full and bright, casting an eerie glow upon the forest canopy, Jean-Luc's courage would be put to the ultimate test. For on this fateful night, he would come face to face with the true horror that lurked within the shadows. As he ventured deeper into the heart of the woods, Jean-Luc's keen ears caught the faint rustle of leaves and the distant echo of a bone-chilling howl. Gripping his sword tightly, he pressed on, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and determination. Suddenly, a blood-curdling roar shattered the silence, and before him emerged a beast unlike any he had ever seen. Standing before him, bathed in the ethereal light of the moon, was a creature of nightmares, a towering monstrosity with fur as black as midnight and eyes that burned with an unholy fire. Its fangs gleamed in the darkness, dripping with the blood of its victims, as it unleashed a primal snarl that sent shivers down Jean-Luc's spine. In that moment, Jean-Luc knew that he faced a foe beyond mortal comprehension, a creature born of darkness and despair, driven by a savage hunger that could never be sated. With a fierce cry, he raised his sword high, ready to do battle with the beast that had terrorized the village for far too long. But as the two adversaries clashed in a whirlwind of steel and fur, a chilling realization dawned upon Jean-Luc, the true nature of the creature before him. For beneath its bestial exterior lay the unmistakable visage of a man whose eyes bore the same haunted expression as those who had vanished into the night. As the battle raged on, Jean-Luc found himself torn between duty and compassion, his sword faltering in the face of the creature's desperate cries. For in that moment, he saw not a monster, but a tortured soul trapped between the realms of man and beast, cursed to roam the earth in search of redemption. And so, as the moon dipped below the horizon and the first light of dawn pierced the veil of darkness, Jean-Luc made a fateful decision, one that would alter the course of his destiny forever. With a solemn vow, he swore to break the curse that bound the creature to its monstrous form, to free it from the shackles of its own torment and bring peace to the troubled souls that had been lost to the night. But as the sun rose high in the sky, casting its golden rays upon the battered earth, the true mystery of St. Clair remained unsolved. For though the beast had been vanquished, its legacy lived on in the hearts and minds of those who dared to remember the legend of the werewolf of St. Clair, and the untold horrors that lay hidden within the shadows of the forest. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, the village of St. Clair slowly began to heal from the wounds inflicted by the reign of terror that had gripped it for so long. The memory of the werewolf faded like a haunting dream, replaced by the comforting embrace of normalcy. Yet, despite the facade of tranquility that settled over the village, whispers of the past lingered in the air like a lingering fog. Rumors spread like wildfire, fueled by the embers of curiosity and fear, as the villagers sought to make sense of the inexplicable horrors that had unfolded in their midst. Among those who harbored lingering doubts was Father Henry, the village priest whose faith had been tested by the events that had transpired. Deep in the recesses of his mind, he pondered the true nature of the beast that had once prowled the forests, questioning whether it had truly been a creature of flesh and blood, or something far more sinister. As he delved into the ancient tomes that lined the shelves of his modest rectory, Father Henry uncovered fragments of forbidden knowledge, tales of ancient rituals and dark sorcery, whispered by those who dared to tread the thin line between light and shadow. With each passing day, his conviction grew stronger, his faith tested by the revelation of truths that defied comprehension. Meanwhile, in the heart of the forest, a lone figure roamed the wilderness, haunted by memories of a life long forgotten. Julien Latour, once a respected member of the village, now wandered the land as a lost soul, his mind consumed by guilt and remorse. Driven by an insatiable thirst for redemption, Julien sought solace in the solitude of the woods, his footsteps echoing against the silent earth like a penance for sins long past. Yet, try as he might to escape the shadows of his past, the specter of the werewolf loomed large over his every waking moment, a constant reminder of the horrors he had unleashed upon the world. But amidst the darkness, a flicker of hope emerged, a glimmer of light that pierced the veil of despair and illuminated a path toward salvation. For Julien had not walked alone in his journey of redemption, but had been guided by the gentle hand of Elise Dubois, whose spirit lingered in the whispers of the wind. As the days turned into nights and the nights into days, Julien found solace in the memories of their fleeting moments together, each recollection a balm to soothe the ache of his tormented soul. And though he knew that he could never undo the pain he had caused, he vowed to honor her memory by seeking forgiveness for his sins and righting the wrongs of his past. But even as Julien sought redemption, dark forces stirred in the shadows, their whispers carrying the promise of untold power and unspeakable horrors. For the legacy of the werewolf of St. Clair lived on in the hearts of those who dared to remember, casting a long shadow over the land and heralding the dawn of a new age of darkness. And so, as the sun set upon the village of St. Clair, casting long shadows across the land, the true mystery of the werewolf remained unsolved, its secrets hidden in the depths of the forest, waiting to be unearthed by those who dared to seek the truth. As the seasons changed and the village of St. Clair settled into a fragile peace, a subtle unease lingered beneath the surface, like a serpent coiled in the shadows, biding its time. Despite the passing of time, the whispers of the past refused to fade entirely, echoing through the minds of the villagers like a haunting refrain. Among those who harbored lingering doubts was Isabelle Moreau, a young woman whose curiosity often led her down paths less traveled. With an insatiable thirst for knowledge, she delved into the village archives, poring over dusty tomes and faded manuscripts in search of answers to the questions that plagued her restless mind. But try as she might, the truth remained elusive, obscured by the veil of secrecy that shrouded the village's darkest secrets. Undeterred, Isabelle pressed on, determined to uncover the mysteries that lay hidden beneath the surface, no matter the cost. Meanwhile, in the depths of the forest, a shadowy figure moved with the grace of a predator, its form blending seamlessly into the tangled undergrowth. Julien Latour, once a man cursed by the darkness that lurked within him, now walked a path of redemption, guided by the memory of the woman he had loved and lost. But as he ventured deeper into the heart of the woods, Julien sensed a shift in the air, a disturbance that sent a shiver down his spine. For in the stillness of the forest, he felt the presence of something ancient and malevolent, its tendrils reaching out to ensnare him in a web of deceit. Driven by a primal instinct, Julien followed the trail of darkness, his senses heightened by the foreboding sense of danger that hung in the air like a thundercloud. And as he emerged into a clearing bathed in moonlight, he beheld a sight that filled him with dread. Standing before him, cloaked in shadows and wreathed in mist, was a figure of pure malevolence, a being whose eyes burned with an unholy fire, its form shifting and twisting like smoke in the wind. With a voice like honey and venom, it spoke of power beyond imagining, of secrets hidden in the depths of the earth, waiting to be unleashed upon the world. But even as the creature whispered its promises of untold riches and forbidden knowledge, Julian sensed the darkness that lay at the heart of its words, a darkness that threatened to consume him whole if he dared to succumb to its temptations. And so, with a steely resolve born of newfound purpose, Julian rejected the creature's offer, choosing instead to walk the path of light and redemption. With each step he took away from the darkness, he felt the weight of his burdens lift from his shoulders, replaced by a sense of peace and clarity that he had not known in years. But even as Julian emerged from the depths of the forest, the echoes of the creature's words lingered in his mind, a constant reminder of the thin line that separated light from shadow, good from evil. And as he returned to the village of St. Clair, he knew that the true battle had only just begun. For amidst the whispers of the past and the shadows of the present, a new darkness stirred, its hunger insatiable, its thirst for power unquenchable. And as the sun set on the horizon, casting long shadows across the land, the true mystery of the werewolf of St. Clair remained unsolved, its secrets waiting to be uncovered by those who dared to seek the truth. As the days turned into weeks, the village of St. Clair found itself ensnared in a web of uncertainty and fear. Whispers of dark omens and foreboding prophecies spread like wildfire through the streets, leaving a trail of unease in their wake. Despite their best efforts to cling to the illusion of normalcy, the villagers could not shake the feeling that something sinister lurked just beyond the edge of their collective consciousness. Among those who felt the weight of impending doom was Isabel Moreau, whose relentless pursuit of the truth had led her down a path fraught with danger. With each passing day, she delved deeper into the mysteries that surrounded the village, her determination unyielding in the face of adversity. But as Isabel uncovered fragments of forbidden knowledge and whispered secrets, she found herself drawn inexorably towards a darkness that threatened to consume her whole. In the shadows of the night, she glimpsed fleeting visions of a figure cloaked in darkness, a figure whose presence sent a chill down her spine and stirred a sense of primal dread deep within her soul. Meanwhile, in the heart of the forest, Julian Latour grappled with the echoes of his own past, haunted by the specter of the werewolf that had once dwelled within him. Though he had renounced the darkness that had consumed him, he could not shake the feeling that his sins had not been fully atoned for, that a reckoning was still to come. Driven by a sense of duty and a desire to protect those he held dear, Julian resolved to confront the darkness head-on, no matter the cost. With each step he took towards the heart of the forest, he felt the weight of his burdens grow heavier, the tendrils of doubt and fear threatening to ensnare him once more. But as he emerged into a clearing bathed in moonlight, Julian was greeted not by the looming figure of darkness he had expected, but by the sight of Isabel Moreau, her eyes wide with terror and her breath coming in ragged gasps. With trembling hands, Isabel relayed tales of ancient rituals and forgotten prophecies, of a darkness that had lain dormant for centuries, waiting for the right moment to rise again. In hushed tones, she spoke of a shadowy cabal that lurked in the shadows, manipulating events from behind the scenes, their motives shrouded in secrecy and their allegiance to darkness absolute. As Julian listened to Isabel's words, a sense of grim determination settled over him, a resolve to confront the darkness that threatened to engulf them all and emerge victorious, no matter the cost. With Isabel by his side, he knew that they stood a chance against the forces arrayed against them, their bond forged in the crucible of adversity and their spirits unbroken by the trials that lay ahead. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the first stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Julian and Isabel set out into the heart of the forest, their hearts filled with a sense of purpose and their minds focused on the task that lay before them. For amidst the whispers of the past and the shadows of the present, a new chapter in the saga of St. Clair was about to unfold, a chapter fraught with danger and uncertainty, but also with the promise of redemption and renewal. As Julian and Isabel ventured deeper into the heart of the forest, they found themselves ensnared in a web of darkness that seemed to grow thicker with each passing step. Shadows danced in the moonlight, whispering secrets too terrible to comprehend, as the trees themselves seemed to twist and contort in unnatural shapes. Despite their best efforts to remain vigilant, the darkness proved to be an insidious foe, clouding their minds with doubt and fear. With each passing moment, the bond between them weakened, strained by the weight of their shared burden and the relentless march of time. And then, in the depths of the forest, they stumbled upon a sight that froze the blood in their veins, a clearing bathed in an eerie glow, where figures clad in robes of black stood in silent vigil around a gnarled altar of stone. As Julian and Isabel watched in horror, The figures began to chant in a language long forgotten, their voices rising in a cacophony of madness and despair. And then, with a sickening lurch, the ground beneath their feet began to tremble, as if the very earth itself cried out in agony. With mounting dread, Julian and Isabel realized the true nature of the ritual unfolding before them, a dark and unholy ceremony, born of ancient sorcery and fueled by the blood of innocents. And at its center stood the creature that had haunted their nightmares, a monstrous abomination for Anfang, its eyes gleaming with malice as it unleashed a primal roar that echoed through the forest like a death knell. In that moment, all hope seemed lost, as the darkness closed in around them, swallowing them whole in a maelstrom of despair. With a heavy heart, Julian reached for Isabel's hand, his fingers trembling with the weight of their shared fate. And then, in a flash of blinding light, their world was consumed by darkness, leaving behind only the echoes of their final, desperate cries, a testament to the tragic fate that had befallen them in the depths of the haunted forest. As the sun rose on the horizon, casting its golden rays upon the village of St. Clair, the true mystery of the werewolf remained unsolved, its secrets buried beneath the earth and its victims lost to the sands of time. And amidst the whispers of the wind and the shadows of the night, the legend of St. Clair lived on, a cautionary tale of the dangers that lurked in the darkness, waiting to claim the unwary souls who dared to tread its treacherous paths.